Welcome to Flow Fusion. I hope you have maybe one book or one block from your house today. We are going to need that, so take a moment, go and find one. You can have a yoga brick. You can sit high on your block or your book, or maybe you'd like to build up a beach towel or a blanket and sit up nice and high on that beach towel. And as you come into that space this morning, folding and crossing one ankle under the opposing shin, take a moment to close your eyes. Start to draw your ears back towards your shoulders. Let your shoulders relax, making space on the right side of your neck, making space on the left side of your neck. Feel your jaw. If you're biting down or clenching your teeth, use this as an opportunity to relax. Jaw, your tongue, your mouth. And then just breathe, starting to inhale and exhale, noticing the rise and fall of your breathing without trying to change anything about it. So not trying to make it more yogic, not trying to make it deeper, longer. You can keep your eyes closed if you'd like, or open them as you roll your chin down to your chest. Just keep that easy breathing. Feel the back of the neck elongate. Again, relax your shoulders. And roll your right ear over to your right shoulder, finding a pause. Rolling the chin back down to the chest, roll the left ear over to the left shoulder, finding a pause. Rolling that chin back down to the chest. Interlace your fingers on the back of your head, not pulling on your head or really in any way adding anything but the pressure of your elbows, drawing down alongside your face. And then let your hands slide off the back of your head back to your knees. And just gently go from side to side, taking those little gentle neck rolls. Left ear closer to the left shoulder. And then traveling only in front, right ear closer to the right shoulder. Just waking up the neck this morning. Perhaps again noticing the jaw and relaxing it. One more time, side to side. You can always hold on one side and then the other if you'd like. And then coming back to the center, stacking the head on top of the body. Once again, close your eyes. Start to draw the air in through the nose and out through the nose with a little more purpose now. Feeling that ujjayi breathing, that little swirl in the back of the throat. Maybe it sounds a little like Darth Vader. Maybe it sounds like a train. Maybe it barely sounds like anything at all, and whatever it sounds like, just let it be. Anytime you feel yourself get away from the breath, let it bring you back into your practice today. Keep that ujjayi breath, and when you're ready, open your eyes. Transitioning to your tabletop position, moving your block or your book out of the way, keeping it close by for a little bit of use later. Coming into that tabletop position, send your right leg out and behind, tuck the toes under, and press back into your right calf muscle. Maybe rock forward and back a few times, drawing that low belly up and in. Again, stay in your breathing. With that foot still extended behind you, walk your left elbow down to the mat and your right elbow down to the mat, coming onto your forearms. Draw your low belly up and in and float your right foot up off of the floor. Now, if that's a little too much pressure on the left knee, fold that beach towel underneath that left knee. Bend your right knee, so you're going to push your foot up towards the ceiling. Let's pulse it up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Draw those shoulders back away from the face. And leave that foot pressing in the air. Now draw your right knee alongside your left knee. Open the right knee out to the side and bring it back in. We're coming out for 10. Bring it back in. 9. Make sure you're not listing over to the left. Really be honest with yourself about drawing that low belly in and only going so high with that right leg as you can keep control. 3 more. 3, 2 more. And last one. Place the right knee alongside the left knee. Walk your right hand under your right shoulder. Left hand under the left shoulder. Back up to that tabletop position you go. Reach the right arm out to the side. As you inhale, take the right arm up, look down at your left arm. As you exhale, dive your right arm under your left. Thread the needle. Bring your right temple to the earth. Walk those left fingers forward. Maybe step the left foot back and pause. Deeper breaths here. Draw your low belly in, walk the left hand back in, walk the left knee back in, back to tabletop you go. Step that left foot all the way back, pressing back into your calf muscle. Maybe you walk back through those delicious little low belly hug up and in sensations as you rock forward and back. Maybe you're bringing something underneath that right knee to give yourself comfort here. And then find that stillness and walk the right elbow down to the earth and the left elbow down to the earth, coming into your forearms. And once you press the top of that right foot into the mat, float that left foot up. Now square your hips first. Draw that low belly up and press your forearms into the mat. Good way to give that activation first thing. Bend your left knee, flex the foot, and let's push it up towards the ceiling. We're going to go for 10. Really squeeze the glute to do so. Instead of opening the hip, keep it closed. Squeeze that right hip in, head in line with the spine. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Press the floor away. Don't lose that structure of the shoulders and draw that left knee in. Now take it open to the side, Jane Fonda style. Little fire hydrant movement, flex that foot, open that left knee to the side for 8. Hug the low belly in. Again, be honest with yourself that you're not listing over to that right side. It's easy to dump some of that energy over there when things get hard. Good. Last 4. And 3. Last 2. And 1. Slowly bring that left knee back down to the earth. This time, sit back into child's pose, reaching the fingers far forward if you'd like, or wrapping your hands around beside your feet. Give yourself a moment to sink into that child's pose, your style, whatever that might be. Remind yourself of your breath. Coming up on the fingertips, lifting the wrists and the palms away from the floor, tenting through the hands. Keep your head right in between your upper arms as you come into extended child's pose. Really lift those wrists away from the earth. Find the stretch. Push the hips back towards the heels. Reach the arms forward. You're just headed in 2 opposing directions, tractioning through the body here. And then try not to change the hands as you melt the palms to the earth. Rock forward a little, tuck your toes under, and step back into downward facing dog as you lift your hips. Curl those fingers on the mat, shake your head out, let it go. Pedal your feet, maybe a few deep knee bends, or maybe you're focusing on that head shake from side to side, or lifting one leg in the air at a time. I'll leave it up to you. Might be your first downward facing dog of the day. I know it's mine. So when you're there, play, stretch into the places that need to be stretched. And then look forward towards your wrist and start to walk up the center of your mat. Take as many steps as you'd like, coming towards your wrists. Inhale to find your half lift. Exhale back to your full. Bend your knees a lot to press your way all the way up to standing, rooting to rise. Exhale as you bring your palms down to heart center. Lift your heart into your thumbs and lift all 10 toes away from the earth. Melt down the pinky toe and then all the way down to the big toe as you find that grounded mountain pose. Close your eyes here and bring yourself back into your Ujjayi breathing. Tap into that breath. Feel the low belly lift up and in, the ears float back towards the shoulders. And then floating those eyes open once again. As you have that connection with your breath, inhale, take the arms up and overhead. As you exhale, bend your knees, tip from your hips, swan dive down over your legs. Inhale to make a little half lift and step just your left foot back. Now you might build your block or your bricks up as you send it out in front of you for a runner's lunge, or maybe you leave both hands on the floor on either side of that right foot. Either way, zipper your low belly in, reach the crown of your head long, and if you're a little hypermobile like I am, make sure your back foot is stacked, heel over the ball of your foot, so you're not collapsing back nor too far forward. Draw that right hip in, feel the muscles work. 3 more breaths right here. Inhaling, you're breathing in. Exhaling, you're breathing out. Today's practice is all about superhero, and I want you to know I think you're a superhero right now. I really do. So many tough things are going on in the world, and you're here. You're practicing. That makes you quite the superhero. Plant your palms to the earth and step your right foot back beside your left foot. Lower your knees and press back into that child's pose once again. Tent up through the fingers, lift the palms away from the floor. Reach the arms nice and long, just like we've been practicing this week. This is your handstand upper body. Inhale, exhale. Inhale again, rock yourself forward, plant your palms, tuck your toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Look forward towards your wrists and take as many steps up the midline of your mat as you'd like. Inhale, little half lift. Exhale, step just the right foot back. Leave the left foot forward. Now again, you could utilize your blocks or maybe your books as you take them on either side of that left foot, or you could draw that left hip in. Send the crown of your head nice and long here. Wiggle your jaw, draw that left hip in, and breathe. Low belly hugs in nice and tight. Shoulders gliding down away from the ears. Again, focusing on this back leg is really helpful in this position, because if this back leg starts to sort of give in, we lose our rudder. So we lose our ability to balance out our pelvis if that back leg starts to waver. When you're ready, plant your palms to the mat and step your left foot back beside your right foot. This time, lower your knees, untuck your toes, lower your chest and your chin, and scoop into your baby cobra pose. Rolling your shoulders back, lifting that heart up. As you exhale, lower yourself down, but swim your right arm back beside your right leg and your left arm back beside your left leg. As you inhale, lift only the upper body into your locust pose. Even if you could go 100%, go 80, go 60. Keep breathing. Now float the feet up if you'd like them to join the party. Keep reaching open through the collarbone section of your chest, and if you feel your trapezius muscles are really active here, open your arms out a bit wider away from your body. There's no one next to you probably, or maybe there's a lot of people next to you, so you might want to take that opportunity of space, of your own space, to really get your practice expansive today. If there's a dog or a cat, or maybe a child beside you, that's okay too. They'll understand. Just give them a little pat, give them a little snuggle, and get back to your practice. Hands drop down under your shoulders, tuck your toes under. We're coming back to plank, so lower your knees if you'd like, or press straight up to plank position using those strong arms. Squeeze the inner arms towards one another, zipper that low belly up and in, reach the crown of your head super long here. Now soften the front of your throat. I know that sounds hard, but really, really just take a moment to feel all those neck stretches we did at the very beginning of the practice come into play here. Lower your knees down to the earth and walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. Take that right leg all the way out and back, but float the toes off the floor this time. Good. Drop those right toes back to the mat. Press back into it a few times. Take just a moment. And then walk that left elbow to the earth and the right elbow to the earth. Float that right foot up and behind and bend the knee. We're going to pulse it up, pushing up. Try not to open your hip for 8, 7. Press those forearms into the mat. Zippering up and in through that low belly space. Good. Last 4. And 3. Last 2. And 1. Right knee closes beside the left knee. Let's take it open to the side. Try to be honest with yourself. Lift and lower. Of course, you can walk up to hands if that feels more like you, but it's a little challenging to stay down on forearms. Make fists with your hands if you'd like. Really draw that low belly in and find 5 more. And 4. And 3. Last 2. And last 1. Bring that knee down. Walk your arms forward to puppy pose this time, dropping your heart towards the floor, leaving your hips over your knees. Maybe the forehead touches your block or the floor. Maybe your chin is untucked if the skin of your chest is easily touching the earth. Breathe, zipper in that low belly and find your inhales and exhales here. Remember, the yoga, the practice only stops when you stop your breath. So try not to hold your breath at any point in the practice today. Walking your hands back in under your shoulders, give yourself just that moment. Step that left foot back, hover the toes in the air. Find that zipper down of the low belly. Really bring it in and up. And then press back into those toes a few times. Maybe rock it forward and back. Walking that right elbow down to the earth and the left elbow down to the earth, coming into that forearm place. Lifting those left toes if they're not already lifted. Bend through the left knee. Let's push it up towards the ceiling. Squeeze that right hip in. We're pushing up for 10, 9. And remember, make modifications through the upper body so you can stay aware in that space. You might want to make fists with your hands or maybe bring your forehead down a little. Last 3, and 2, and last 1. Close the left knee beside the right knee for a moment, then open it out to the side, fire hydrant style. Opening it out for 10, 9. If this is your tighter side, just be careful with that right knee. Make sure there's not too much pressure happening there, or bring a blanket or a beach towel underneath that right knee. Last 5, 4. Good. Just working through that hip mobility. Last 2. And last 1. Slowly bring that knee down. Walk the right hand under the right shoulder, the left hand under the left shoulder. Center up a little with that right hand. Inhale, take the left arm all the way up. Exhale, dive the left arm underneath the right arm. Bring that left temple to the mat. Maybe walk the right hand forward. Maybe step the left foot back. Thread the needle. Zippering through that low belly, finding your expression of this pose. Whatever it might be, press that left shoulder into the earth and find length in the body. Nice work, my friends. Walking that right hand back in, right knee back in, coming back into that tabletop position, your hands and knees. Curl your fingers on the mat. Inhale, flare your tailbone back. Drop the belly down, send the eye gaze to neutral. Exhale, tuck and roll through your spine, coming into that cat stretch. Delicious. Inhale, coming back into your cow. Exhale, floating up and back into that cat. Now see if from your cat, you could come up onto those tented fingers again. Really hug that low belly in. You're coming just to your fingertips. Of course, fingertips could be on blocks here. If you'd like a little more, sing those hips back. Press the tops of the feet towards the floor. And see if you could hover the fingertips away from the mat, even though you're reaching into that cat spine. Hug the low belly in. Nice work. And then walk those hands all the way forward. Settle those hips back to the heels. Extended child's pose. Fingers stay anchored into the floor like Spider-Man, Spider-Woman. Draw the shoulders back away from the ears. Hips might sink back towards the heels. One more big breath here. And then pulling yourself forward, melt your hands to the earth and draw your heart towards the floor, coming into that baby cobra pose from your child's pose. Roll the shoulders back, open that collarbone section of the chest. Good. Slowly lowering yourself down, swinging that left hand back, palm might face up, right hand back, palm might face up. Open heart, lift just through the upper body. Arms might float out a little further away. Maybe you're ready to lift those feet off the floor. Maybe the tops of the feet stay anchored into the mat. Find your breathing here. Inhaling your breathing in, exhaling your breathing out. Now work open through the collarbone section. So a lot of times in that locust pose, we might come here. See if you could broaden through the arms. Really send your eye gaze out in front of you rather than up. No need to look up necessarily. Now fire your legs and lift them up just a little bit more if they're in the air for 3 breaths. Should feel like a little work. Last 2. We're coming to plank, so as your hands shift under your shoulders, tuck your toes, bring your knees down if you'd like. or just press straight to that plank position. Squeeze those inner arms towards one another, really fire up those chest muscles. Now that our warm-up has come to a close, feel your breath come, feel it go. Inhale, exhale, you have built those building blocks. Start to rock yourself lightly forward and back to warm up the wrists. The next time you exhale, lift your hips up and back, finding downward facing dog. Look forward towards your wrists and step as many times in towards your hands as you'd like. Take as many steps. Inhale to take your half lift. Exhale back to your fold. Inhale, bend your knees, root down, rise up, reverse your swan dive. Exhale, palms come to press right at heart center, finding that samasthiti. Send all of your body weight into your left foot and lift your right foot up. Flex that right foot and really come into that space, lifting up through heart center. Option to take a twist over that right leg. Right hand might contact the hip, left hand might touch the knee as you take that twist, or maybe you reach your arms all the way out. Find something unmoving in the room to focus your eye gaze on. Breathe, and if you fall out, just kind of giggle and come right back into it. When you're ready, come back to the center line. Loop that right leg over your left leg as you sit into eagle legs or lady legs variation. Palms pressed together right at heart center. Maybe those shins come alongside one another, or maybe you're finding that wrap of the right toes around that left calf muscle. Give those legs a good squeeze. Find something again, unmoving in the room, sink the hips back, sit a little lower, find your breath here. Heart lifts into those thumbs, or maybe if you're challenging yourself, you bring the arms all the way up into a chair variation with your arms. Keep the low ribs tucked in. Now see if you could unwrap that right leg and lift all the way up to where you started, stepping your right foot down beside your left foot. Exhale, swan dive down over your legs. Inhale, half lift. Plant your palms, step just your left foot back. Leave your right foot forward. Now you're coming into that low lunge variation with your back knee lifted. Bring the top of your back foot to the mat. If you'd like to come into superhero pose with me, hands work onto that right thigh, and your back toes are on the floor. Maybe you take it one step deeper by reaching the arms all the way forward. Now feel that you could shift weight and lift a little bit of pressure out of that left foot. 2 more breaths, you've got this. Squeeze that right hip in. Oh, gorgeous. Exhale your hands down to the earth, tuck the back toes, and step back into your plank position. Rock slightly forward, lower your knees, untuck your toes, lower your chest and your chin, and scoop into your cobra pose. Exhale back down to the earth. Bringing your hands behind you, lift your feet, locust pose. Bringing your hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes, downward facing dog, through half plank, full plank, or maybe whatever your style is. Look forward towards your wrists, walk, float, tippy-toe, hop the feet in towards the hands. Inhale to take a little half lift. Exhale back to your fold. Inhale, root down, rise up, reverse your swan dive. Exhale, palms coming to press right at that heart center space. All of your body weight goes into your right foot, left foot lifts. Now you see that 90-degree angle that appears. Flex through that foot, bring a little power there. And maybe you take a twist over that left side. Maybe left hand touches left hip, right arm touches left knee, or maybe you're reaching arms apart from one another. Grow a little taller. Squeeze those inner thighs towards one another, revolving back to the center line, palms pressed to heart center. Loop that left leg over your right leg, sinking back into eagle legs, Garudassana. Now maybe those shins come alongside one another, sinking back into your seat, drawing the low belly in, or maybe you wrap the left foot around that right calf muscle. If you have a little funky hypermobile ankle like I do, that might be something that's a little easier for you. Squeeze the inner thighs towards one another, draw that low belly in and sit back a little bit. Now you could stay here, pressing palms to heart center, right in that Anjali Mudra. Or if you'd like to fire it up a little more, start to reach the arms up into your chair pose variation. Send your eye gaze to something unmoving in your space, whatever it might be. Hopefully it's something really cool. When you're ready, start to straighten, unwrap the leg, and step the left foot beside the right foot. Exhale, swan dive down over your legs. Inhale, little half lift. Step just your right foot back. So you're in that high runner's lunge variation. Now with your hands on your blocks or floor, you're going to bring the top of your right foot to the earth. So it's almost like you're pointing your toes. Draw that left hip back and send your hands onto your left thigh. If this is just not doable for your foot, stay in that regular lunge shape. Or if you're coming to that superhero, reach those arms all the way forward. Send weight into that left leg to take pressure out of the top of the right foot. Breathe, draw that left hip back, really reach. Reach through the right thigh as well. Exhale your hands down to the earth from wherever you are. Tuck those toes if you haven't already, and step back into your plank position. Last vinyasa for a while. Option to take knees, chest and chin, or chaturanga. Switch into baby cobra or upward facing dog. And finding downward facing dog on your exhale. Lower your knees down to the mat, coming to that tabletop position. Walk your right elbow down to the earth. Walk your left elbow down to the earth. Make fists with your hands. Press your right foot up towards the ceiling for 20, 19. Keep breathing. Lift up through that low belly. Keep your head in line with your spine. Keep pulsing it up. Now, for this last 10, I want you to try to go at the top of your range of motion. So it's like a little tiny glute squeeze. Just squeeze, 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 squeeze. Keep that squeeze on. Don't let the knee get so high that you lose control. And then draw that right knee beside your left knee. We're coming out to the side. Open it out. Bring it back in. Of course, you can walk to hands if you'd like. Open it out. Bring it back in. Open it out. Bring it back in. You've got this. Keep breathing. Press the floor away and lift that right leg open to the side. Beautiful. 2 more. Leave it out there on this last one. Flex through that right foot. See if you could press your forearms into the earth and really squeeze that right knee out to the side. Ooh, I know that's a tough range. Keep breathing. Now you're going to push your right leg back like a frog swimming and bring it back up towards your right elbow. Push the right leg back. Bring it up towards your right elbow. Push it back. Bring it up. Keep that head in line with the spine. If you're not talking to the camera, just look down between your hands. No need to look over here. We're just going to push that right foot back and bring it back in towards your elbow for 4. Really make it like that frog swimming motion. Last 2. Should be working a different angle of that hip. Last 1. And bring that right knee back down. Walk the right hand under the right shoulder and the left hand under the left shoulder, coming back to your tabletop position, your hands and knees. Step that right foot all the way back and behind. Tuck the toes, press back into the calf muscle. Maybe you rock a little forward and back. Float that right foot up off of the air one of the times you rock forward and circle it around to the outside of the right pinky finger. So you come into that lizard pose. Walk your hands forward and back a few times, stretching out through that hamstring. Get a little animalistic with it if you'd like. You can kind of stretch back and forward or bring something underneath that left knee to bring a lot of comfort there. We'll stop in that forward position, coming into that lizard pose, both hands on the inside of that right foot. Send the heart between the upper arms, roll the shoulders down away from the ears, find a big exhale. Maybe walking down to elbows feels like your practice today. And then gently walk the right hand under the right shoulder and the left hand under the left shoulder. Tuck the back toes under. Lift that back knee up. Charge it. Pivot to the long edge of your mat and all the way around towards your left foot at what used to be the back edge of your mat. So you should wind up in that lizard or dragon on the other side. Good. Lower your right knee. Untuck your toes and sweep the left leg around beside the right leg so you're once again in your tabletop position. Curl your fingers on the mat. Inhale, flare your tailbone back. Drop the belly down. Send your eye gaze to neutral. Exhale, tuck and roll through the spine, coming into that cat stretch. Maybe you start to rise up in that cat stretch, bringing those palms away from the earth. Maybe you even walk the fingers away from the mat, but keep that cat stretch. Slowly descending the fingers back down to the mat. Take your time. Walk that left elbow down to the earth. The right elbow down to the earth. Left foot hovers in the air as you press the bottom of the foot towards the sky or the ceiling. Press it up. We've got 20 presses this time. Zipper that low belly up and in. Good. Keep it in that range where you're really squeezing the glute. Of course, hip bridge is a great one to work those glutes, but working it in this range against gravity differently oftentimes works a little different muscle. Now stay at the top of your range, so little pulses up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Close that left knee beside your right knee. We're taking it open to the side. Now again, if this is your tighter side, like it is mine, be honest with yourself. Squeeze that right hip in. Don't let that right knee bear the brunt of the exercise. Keep breathing. Lift up through that low belly and change your arms as needed. You can walk back to hands if you'd like. We've got 5, 4, and 3. Last 2. Now hold that left knee out there. Oh, give it a good squeeze. Press the left foot back behind you and then pull that left knee towards your elbow. Press it back like a frog swimming and pull it towards your elbow. Press it back and pull it towards your elbow. Lift up through the pit of your belly. We've got at least 175 more of these. Just kidding. Just feels like it. Press it back. Notice what's going on in the rest of your body. It's not about the knee touching the elbow. It's just about keeping that shape, working congruently. Last 3. You've got this. Last 2. Good. And last 1. Bring that knee in. Bring it beside your right knee. Walk your left hand under your left shoulder. Your right hand under your right shoulder, coming to that tabletop. Step that left foot back. Press back into the ball of your foot a few times, rocking on your hands and feet. And then lift that left leg up into the air. As you exhale, take that left foot to the outside of the left pinky finger. Good. Let's walk it forward and back a few times. Again, getting a little animalistic with it. Maybe you take your beach towel or your blanket underneath that right knee. Give it a good stretch. We're going to stop in that forward position, maybe winging those left toes out, coming into lizard or dragon pose. Inhale to send the heart between the upper arms. Maybe as you exhale, you walk those elbows down to the earth, maybe to your block. Or maybe you stay up on stacked fists or hands. Center yourself again in your breathing. And then walking that left hand down under the left shoulder, right hand under the right shoulder, tuck the back toes under, lift that back knee up. Pivot again to the long edge of your mat, all the way around towards your right foot, back to the front edge, or what used to be the front edge. As you come into that lunge position, you're again going to lengthen your body forward. Keep breathing into that space. Zipper through that low belly, and walk your hands onto that right thigh. Now reaching your hands behind you this time, squeezing that right hip in quite a lot. Reach through the triceps, reach through the palms of the hands, staying in that sort of low, not quite humble warrior shape, but a little bit more challenging, pressing the feet apart from one another. Take 2 more breaths right here. And then dropping the hands back down to the mat. Send your eye gaze forward to lift your left leg up into the air. As you exhale, pull the left foot beside the right foot, coming into your forward fold. Inhale to take a little half lift flat back. Exhale, step just the right foot back. Leave the left foot forward. Again, send your heart forward. Once you have that back leg really strong, walk your hands onto your left thigh. Zipper through that low belly. Reach the entire torso long to reach the arms back behind you. Just taking another variation of our superhero here. It's all about finding those little superheroes in the everyday right now. Keep the heart open, keep rolling those shoulders back. Reach, keep it really structural here. So reach through all 10 fingers, even the pinkies. Good. Exhale, dropping the hands back to the earth. Lengthen them forward and lift that right leg up. And step the right foot beside the left foot. Inhale to take a little half lift. Exhale, plant your palms to the earth and step both feet back into your plank position. Squeeze those inner arms towards one another. Fire up your low belly here. Keep that breath going. Inhaling, you're breathing in. Exhaling, you're breathing out. That's all the more complicated it needs to be. Good. As you rock yourself forward and back, we'll undulate up and back to down dog on your exhale. Whatever exhale you want. It could be the same as mine or different. Once you get into that down dog, center up with your left foot. Lift your right leg up into 3-legged dog. Exhale, pull that right knee up the center line. Step your right foot down. Wherever it lands is great. Inhale, rising all the way up to your high lunge this time. Take a moment to gather that balance. Lower the back knee to the floor if you're feeling that in your practice today, or stay high as you twist open over that right leg. Now again, your hands could stay down, or they could reach out, is once again your rudder, really expanding through that waist. Beautiful work. Sweeping that right arm back up to come back to the center line. As you exhale, fold your hands behind you. Maybe grab your opposite elbow and take that little tip forward from the hip to come into your humble variation. You might also be reaching the arms all the way out behind you. Either way, you're prioritizing opening through that collarbone section of your chest. Nice work. Drop your fingers down to the mat. Send your eye gaze forward and lift that left leg up into the air. As you exhale, pull your left knee in tightly to your chest. Press your knees together to rise all the way up to standing, lifting that left leg up into the air, finding that standing balance work. Thread that left leg over your right leg and sit back. No eagle arms, just eagle legs or lady leg variation. Pull the low ribs in. See if you can find that drishti, that unmoving point in the room. Perhaps those arms really extend back up into that chair pose. If so, sit back into the hips a little bit and squeeze those inner thighs. Keep the shins alongside one another and breathe. Really imagine you're squaring the hips as if a gentle skewer would come through the outside of the right hip and come out the left hip. Now press the floor away as you unlink the legs, step into mountain pose. Exhale, swan dive down over your legs. Inhale, find your half lift. Plant your palms and step one foot back at a time. Coming through your vinyasa, you can take knees, chest, and chin, chaturanga, or head straight back to downward facing dog. I'll leave it up to you, whatever you feel your vinyasa is today. One more big inhale. Together we create a long exhale, let it go. Send that left leg more back than up, really reach it back. Exhale, pull the left knee in towards the body. Wherever it lands as you step the left foot down to the mat is fine. Rising up to that high crescent pose. Finding that breath. We're going to take a twist over that left leg, that forward leg. So you can drop your hands low and take that twist, or you can reach out. Arms might be opposing one another as you reach out. Now, what's happening with that right leg? Keep reaching and keep firing that back leg to square the hips. Sweep that left arm back down to come up, reaching up. As you take that humble warrior fold, maybe you bring your hands behind you. They could continue to reach out, or you might take your opposite elbow. Keep opening up through that heart space. Even as we're facing these challenges, keeping that heart open. Find your breath, find your breathing. Squeeze that left hip back. And then drop your fingers to the floor, look forward, lift that right leg up. Pull the right knee in close to the left knee, squeeze the knees together. Bend your left knee a little and rise up, finding that standing balance work. If you wobble, no worries, get right back into it. Loop that right leg over the left leg, descending into eagle leg variation. Squeeze the low ribs in, press the palms together, upper body reaches slightly back for balance, and find that drishti. If you'd like a little spicier, arms reach up and overhead. Remember, if you have any shoulder considerations or neck considerations, you can always take the arms down in front of you. Just change that plane just a little bit. Deep breaths in this space. Really squeeze those inner thighs. Now, as you unravel the legs, stepping into that mountain pose, stay strong, stay long, interlace your fingers, release your index fingers, thumbs crossed. Bend your body over to the right and take a big stretch. Bring it back to the center line, bend your body over to the left, take a big stretch. Bring it back to the center line. Sweep your hands behind you, touching your lower back or the back of your pelvis. Press your pelvis a little longer, bend your knees a little, open up through that heart, and maybe look into your first standing back bend. If you're very mobile in this space, keep making sure that your thighs are firing you forward as you look across and down and back. Chin tucks in, thighs pull you forward. Use your legs to come back to level. Inhale the arms up and overhead. Exhale, interlace your fingers behind your back or take your strap or your beach towel. Open up through that heart. Now we're just gonna find a little lift and lower. So separate your feet a little and just lift the arms and lower them. making sure there's no drama in those trapezius muscles, so we're not using them to lift up, we're just lifting and lowering. One more time. Bend your knees, sit back, sweep your arms apart from one another, come to chair pose, Utkatasana. Now, option to stay in chair, building strength in the legs. Option to drop your hands to the earth and look forward and take a crow. If you have your one brick or perhaps your book, create a unicorn horn with it. Look forward, bring your third eye to the brick or the book, and your knees onto your upper arms until you feel that cat spine strength to press yourself up and away. Once you're ready and done playing, I'll meet you back in that chair pose place. Everyone pressing the floor away to rise, coming into Tadasana mountain pose. Inhale, microscopic back bend, much smaller than the last. Exhale, swan dive down over your legs, forward fold. Inhale, little half lift, step just the left foot back, leave the right foot forward. Now, if you'd like to play with my superhero, point your toes, bring the top of your foot to the earth. Reach your arms all the way out in front of you and breathe. You can always bring one or both hands onto that right leg. As you exhale, drop your hands down to the earth. Lengthen forward to lift that left leg up into the air. Exhale, you're going to bump the front of the left knee behind the back of the right knee for Kundalini's descent. Pick it back up. It's a single leg squat. Hands on your block or your book. Bump again and push it back up. Bump again and push it back up. One more time. And back to standing L shape with that left leg in the air. Zipper through that low belly. Reach the heart nice and long. Exhale, pull the left knee in beside the right knee. Press the knees together, rising up to that standing balance work. Good. Now, as you take that twist on the left side, maybe you reach down and catch that foot or hook your strap around it, or maybe you keep that left knee bent, breathing into the space for 5. Squeeze the inner thighs towards one another for 4. Expand through that heart. Again, if you wobble, it's okay. All superheroes wobble just a little bit. And come back to the center. Bend that knee. Ride it down into your chair pose. Stay juicy in your practice. Stay in chair. Make it a dynamic chair. Or take a crow pose here. Breathing into this space. Wherever you are, you're in the right place. You are in the right place. You're here. From your crow, I'll meet you back in chair. Beautiful work, my friends. Exhale, swan dive down over your legs, forward fold. Inhale, little half lift. Exhale, step just the right foot back. Now, with your hands on the earth, come to the top of that right foot if you'd like to play. Send the heart forward, reach the arms all the way out. Send your body weight into that left leg to take a little pressure off the right leg. Squeeze that left hip back. Squeeze the low belly in. One more breath. Good. Exhale the hands down to the earth. Slide the fingers forward and lift that right leg up into the air. Find that standing L shape. Now bend your right knee and your left knee, and you're going to just link them together behind, like you're doing a single leg squat. Kick it back up. Link it down and behind. And kick it back out. Link it down and behind. And kick it back out. One more time. Link it down and behind. Kick it back out. Pause. Reach the heart forward. Reach that right leg long. Good. Now, pull the right knee in towards your belly. Squeeze it beside the left leg, rising back up into your standing balance. You've got this. Excellent. You can take that twist over that bent knee, or you could reach down for that right foot and start to extend it out. Breathe wherever you are for 4. Squeeze those inner thighs. Find your drishti point. It's probably not me. Last 2 breaths. And little micro bend in that knee, coming back to the center line, ride it back down into your chair pose. Last opportunity for that crow, or taking your dynamic chair, or sweeping your hands behind you, look forward, open the heart, and come into sparrow's pose. However you want to practice today, squeeze those inner thighs towards one another. If you're in sparrow, if you're in crow, really create that cat spine. I'll meet you back in chair pose, sweeping the arms, coming back up. Press the floor away, rise all the way up. Interlace your fingers, release your index fingers, thumbs. Cross, we're going to the left. Tip your body all the way to the left in that crescent moon shape. Bring it back up to the center line. And tip your body over to the right. and coming back to the center line. Hands swim around to your back. Drop the pelvis down just a little, open through that heart. Separate the feet perhaps. Look across the ceiling or sky and press the thighs forward. Maybe that creates enough opening through the front of the body. You take a little bigger back bend. Maybe you're reaching your arms up and overhead. Maybe you're dropping all the way back. And then send your thighs forward and lift back up. Chin comes parallel to the floor. Inhale to take those arms up. Exhale to swan dive down over your legs. Inhale, little half lift. Exhale, step one foot back at a time, coming into your plank position. Rock slightly forward on the balls of your feet. Option to take a chaturanga, or lift up and back to your downward facing dog. I'll leave it up to you. If you take that vinyasa, make sure you stay true to your breath as you go. Inhale to take that right leg more back than up. Exhale, pull the right knee in towards the chest, step it down into that lunge. Inhale, rising all the way up. Exhale, opening out your twist over your right leg. Draw the low belly in, reach, reach, reach. Option to keep hands on the thigh. And then sweep that right arm back up. Open out towards your warrior two on the other side, so that right leg is really, really your strong point here. Left leg presses back. Reach the arms apart from one another. Squeeze those triceps. Breathing here. Right knee at a happy angle with that right ankle. 2 more breaths. Squeezing that left hip in. On that right side, warrior two. Straighten through your right leg. Turn all 10 toes to the long edge of your mat and tip from your hip. Inhale to create that little half lift, pivoting around towards your left foot at what used to be the back edge of your mat. Plant your palms. Step your left foot back into your plank position. Take that vinyasa if you like it, or lift it up and back into downward facing dog. Send that left leg more back than up. Exhale, pull your left knee in towards your belly. Stepping your left foot down as you rise up on an inhale, finding that high crescent pose. Twisting over the left leg this time. Again, you might use your hands to keep in contact with that thigh, or maybe you reach your arms apart from one another as an expression of your twist. The only thing is, make sure that that right hip doesn't drop down to create the twist. Keep the twist through the thoracic spine. Sweep that left arm back up again, and then open out into warrior two. You're facing in the opposite direction, but that's okay. We're still all together. Reach those fingers apart from one another. Squeeze your triceps. Pull that right hip in and breathe. Eye gaze might go out over that left middle finger. Take a moment to get in touch with that breathing. And then straighten that left leg. Turn all 10 toes to the long edge of your mat. Tip from your hip and find your forward fold. Option to walk those elbows down to the earth. If you'd like to take an inversion here, you certainly can. Maybe you interlace your fingers and bring your head to the mat and start to come into that little nugget in your headstand. Maybe you take a couple handstand hops. Maybe you stay in that half supported headstand. Again, wherever you are, you're in the right spot. Inhale when you're ready, coming back into that half lift. Exhale, pivoting around towards your right foot at what started off as the front edge of your mat. Plant your hands and step your right foot back into your plank position. Squeeze your inner arms towards one another. Really feel that low belly work up and in. Rock yourself forward and back a few times. As you exhale, lift up and back to your down dog. Lift that left leg up. Exhale, pull your left foot through, stepping it down into your high crescent pose. It doesn't really matter where it lands. We'll all get there. Exhale, palms press to heart center. Angle your body forward over your left leg and take a twist over that left leg. Now you might anchor your elbow to your thigh, you might drop your right hand to the midline on your book, or you might take a bind here. If you take that bind, threading that left hand behind your back, tucking it into that right hip pocket. 2 more breaths. Release the bind if you have it, coming back to the center line, lifting up through the torso, rolling your right heel down 90 degrees, opening into warrior two. Straighten just a little through that left leg. Eye gaze goes down to the pinky toe. Rebend that left knee, add your hand to your block or your book, and lift up into that half moon. Now the trick of half moon is to squeeze that right leg down in line with your right hip. Eye gaze might go down for balance or up towards your right hand for a challenge. Little micro bend in that left knee, stepping it back down, rising back into warrior two. Straighten through the left leg. Turn all 10 toes to the long edge of your mat and tip down from your hip. Bend into the left knee, the right knee. Skandasana from side to side. And then pivoting around towards your right leg at what used to be the back edge of your mat. Option is send your hands forward and lift that left leg up into the air for standing L shape. Or firm your inner arms and take a moment to take a Shakti kick. Find that little handstand play. Curl your fingers on the mat. Good. When you're ready, step the left foot back, step the right foot back. Rock yourself slightly forward and exhale your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale that right leg more back than up. Exhale, pull the right knee in towards the belly, step it down. Wherever it lands is fine. You can adjust feet anytime, rising to your high crescent pose. Now back heel presses back viciously. Palms press to heart center. Heart lowers over that right leg and take a twist. Over to the right side this time. Maybe left hand drops to the midline. Maybe elbows anchor. Maybe you take that partial bind to lift up through that left hip. Right hand drops back into that left hip pocket. Breathing here. Release that bind if you have it. Press the thighs towards one another to come back to that high crescent. And then open all the way out, rolling that left heel down 90 degrees into your warrior two. Take a moment to straighten just a little through that right leg. And then rebend it as you bring your hand down to the pinky toe side of that right foot. Send that left leg along the mat and then up, coming into that Ardha Chandrasana. Eye gaze goes down for balance. Squeeze that left hip in line with that left foot and press your thighs towards the long edge of the mat. 2 more breaths. You've got this. Stay juicy with it as you bend into that right knee, stepping that left foot back, rising up into your warrior two, feeling a little sweat here, shoulders gliding down away from the ears. Straightening through that right leg, turn all 10 toes to the long edge of your mat. Exhale, tip from your hip, find your fold. You have so many choices. Skandasana, crow pose, headstand, handstand, forearm stand. If there's an inversion that feels like you, go ahead and take it. Take that moment to breathe. Instead of an inversion, you can take a little twist here. Everyone feels different in their practice, and that should always be honored. When you come out of that space of play, start to pivot your hands around to your left foot at what started off as the front edge of your mat. So maybe you're facing back towards me again. Send your hands forward and lift that right leg up into the air. Now, option to take a little bit of a balance here, or option to press your palms to the earth. Firm those inner arms, rock forward a little, and take a couple little Shakti kicks. Remember, rock your weight forward, hug into that little cat spine, and find that little lift off. Or stay in that standing L shape. Exhale, pull the right foot down beside the left foot, finding your forward fold. Heel toe your feet very wide apart. Inhale. Exhale, clasp your opposite elbow overhead and hang in that ragdoll. Bring a little more body weight forward into the balls of your feet. If it doesn't feel good to you to frame your face with opposite hand on opposite elbow, take a variation where you're touching the floor or your block, or maybe even a chair out in front of you. Low belly works in on the exhale, lifting the hips into the air, lengthening the hamstrings. Slowly dropping those fingers down to the earth. Inhale, find your half lift. Heel toe your feet a little wider, turning the toes out, descending into squat or malasana. As you come into that malasana shape, drop one hand to the center line and twist the other arm up. And bring it back down and twist. And bring it back down. Right hand goes in front, left hand goes behind, easing your way back onto your mat, closing the knees in towards one another. Stretch the legs nice and long. Palms glide down beside you, or maybe your blocks or your books are under your hands for staff pose. Pull your low ribs in, flex your toes back towards your nose, finding that Dandasana. Now keep a slight tuck of your chin, and really pull that right thigh in close to your body. Option here to start to straighten out through the leg, catching the pinky toe edge of that right leg with your left hand. Dropping your right hand behind you. Opening up through that heart space. Maybe you bend the left knee and step the bottom of the left foot to the floor. Or maybe you just keep yearning up into that right leg, finding your breathing here. Coming back out to the center line, loop that right foot over your left leg. So you're stepping it a little higher than the knee. Inhale to take the heart high, drop your right hand behind you, and either wrap the left arm around the right leg, or take that left arm up and swim it over. I know it can be a little challenging when we're twisting to follow the directions, so take your time, just make sure you get both sides in. Good, come back to the center line gently, stepping your right foot out, sliding it long, palms placed down by your sides. Make your back as long and flat as you can as you come into that seated staff pose. Flex those toes back towards your nose. Good. Let's even it up on the other side. Draw that left thigh close to the body. Option to stay here. You could just hook and draw it in. Option to reach your right hand down and catch the pinky toe edge of your foot. Left hand drops behind you. Maybe you lengthen it all the way out. Maybe you keep your knee bent as you twist. Remember, the twist doesn't need to come from the neck first. It comes from the body, the thoracic spine, and then finally through the head if you want to look out over that left shoulder. Squeeze the inner thighs towards one another and breathe here. And come back in just a little bit. Bend through that left knee and step the left foot to the outside of the right thigh. Inhale to send it long, and then wrap that right arm around the left leg and take your twist. Or swim that right arm up and over as you take your twist. Breathing here, hit the gas pedal with your right foot. Slowly come back out, take your time. Step the bottom of your left foot to the earth, step the bottom of your right foot to the earth. Inhale to send your heart high. Exhale, clasp the hamstrings and round down, curling down. Draw your feet in with you, and as you wind up on the floor, you're in happy baby pose. If hands don't gently touch the feet, wrap your arms behind your knees and come into that happy baby. Reaching your legs up towards the ceiling, cross your right thigh over your left and come into reclining cow face pose. Pull the shins maybe apart from one another, or draw the knees in a little closer to the belly. We'll take that on the opposite side, reaching the legs straight up. Take the left thigh over the right thigh. Reach for that opposite shin and draw it in. Breathing into that slow down. And reaching it back up. Option to pull the knees in close to the body as you lift your hips, catching through the back of your pelvis to lift up into shoulder stand. If you have your book or block close by your side, you could place it underneath that sacrum, so that fused vertebra, and start to lift up into a supported version. If you're here, flex through your right foot and drop it back behind you. Reach the left leg up. Feel yourself lift up, stacking hips over shoulders. And then come back up with that right leg. Flex the left leg and send it behind you. Trying to keep that pelvis really, really square here. Keep that lift, stay present, and bring that left leg back up. Now, if you'd like, you could drop your toes behind you for plow pose, if that's in your practice. If you've had a neck consideration, perhaps leaving plow pose out, or modifying by bending the knees and placing the knees alongside the ears. From wherever you've been, hug the knees in towards the chest and roll yourself down slowly. Take both of your knees over to the right as you send your hips to the left, finding that reclining twist. As you exhale, center it up. Take both knees over to the left, hips go to the right to find that reclining twist. the center line, step the bottoms of your feet to the mat. Lift your hips into the air for hip bridge, for full wheel, or use your block or your book underneath the sacrum for supported version of your back bend. Lift through those glutes as you squeeze, inner thighs squeeze towards one another. Open-heartedness, roll those shoulder blades together. Find your breathing. Lifting up onto those tippy toes, roll down slowly, one vertebra at a time. If there's anything else you need, take it here. Or send the legs long, opening the arms out a comfortable distance away from the body, finding your Shavasana. Let your eyes close. Let your mind return back to your breathing. In your mind, repeat after me. Feet, relax. Right leg, relax. Left leg, relax. Pelvis, abdominal muscles, relax. Right hand, relax. Left hand, relax. Both arms, relax. Chest, shoulders, relax. Neck, jaw, tongue, relax. Eyebrows, eyes, relax. Forehead, crown of the head, scalp, relax. Only when you're absolutely ready, start to wiggle fingers and toes. Making yourself nice and long, stretching the arms overhead and the legs all the way out, letting the low back arch away from the earth, or staying longer in Shavasana if that suits you today. And only when you feel ready to, rolling to your favorite side, pressing your way back into a comfortable seated position. And once you come into that space, press your palms together, lifting your heart into your thumbs. Dipping your chin down in acknowledgement of your practice today. You are a superhero. Your duty, your commitment, your ability to get on your mat when everything else is going crazy around you. Your ability to walk this path makes you strong. Thank you for showing that to me this morning. My name is Megan. The light in me sees, is grateful for, and honors the light in you. Namaste. And when I say namaste, I mean thank you. I hope you have a beautiful day today. I'll see you again really soon.